Today we have an amazing guest, Andreas Tsindos, the CEO of MWAN.
We've seen when we've integrated a seamless wallet within the app, that the conversion of that, people coming in, registering, start engaging with the platform. There's an NFT marketplace there that you can buy NFTs of the athletes and stuff like that. There's a camel racing game that you can virtually play with and stuff like that. But they're going and creating a wallet because it's a 2-click process within the app. They don't have to go out, mess around with MetaMask, link their wallet or anything like that. It's a seamless experience. And we've seen over 75% conversion from users coming into that wallet.
Sorry, what is F&B?
Food and beverage.
Food and beverage.
Yeah. I mean, the other one is, again, we were having a discussion 2 days ago with somebody from one of the clinics here that's doing tourism, medical tourism. So Dubai has become, or the UAE as a whole, has become a massive, health tourist center. So lots of people come in here for medical procedures, etc. So you can really reward that. If I have a health reward, for example, or any reward, that I'll come here and do a medical procedure, and I get given a voucher to go and spend it in Carrefour here. Mm-hmm. Well, in 3 weeks, I'm going to go back to my home country. That voucher is worthless to me. But if I get given a voucher that I can spend in the duty free, that's perfect. Yeah. I can go back home through the duty free, and there's collaborations there because of the nature of Dubai that you can discuss with the duty free guys at the airport and the Dubai Health Authority and the head of the medical tourism sector here. Say, guys, we can enable this, and you can offer every patient that comes here to do a medical procedure, you offer them extra rewards.
I would like to think that this year will close with an amazing Abu Dhabi Finance Week, because last year, I said this to Anton many times, for me it was the best event.
Okay, very strong.
And the best connections we had were there, the best friends we made were there, and I'm looking for the whole year to continue the way it is and to close with fireworks in Abu Dhabi.
So after the holiday, April, May is going to be packed. There's so many events there. And then obviously we'll go through the summer now. And then again, September actually, there's a big event that's coming here in the healthcare space, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's any of the kind of use case that comes on top of the technology. The technology is here to stay. I think at the time, Bitcoin was, 2019 to 15, less than 10 years old. So it was like...
I was going to quote Anton for the price. What was the price there?
2015 were the brutal days, 2019 to 15 were the brutal days. 2019 were also when the markets collapsed after the ICO bubble,
If I create an NFT of my healthcare record, for example, and every time there's an interaction with the healthcare record, it gives me a reward, I'm happy to do that. So, clinical trials, if I give health data for clinical trial, do I get incentivized for that or not? Right now, we don't know where our data is being used.
What are all the secrets of the events and the communities in Dubai? How was it to become a blockchain pioneer early in the days? That means in 2015. What does it mean to come to an event in 2018 in Dubai, see a group of 80 key people in the region and in the UAE and be part of that ecosystem? What does it mean to build technologies for leading Web3 and crypto companies? Today we have an amazing guest, Andreas Tsindos, the CEO of MWAN. And I love this podcast because Andreas is a dear friend. We met each other recently, but we were colleagues before, but also now a dear friend. Really an amazing podcast, and you're going to have a blast on this one. My name is Anton Golub, and I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Demetrios Zamboglou. Enjoy the podcast, Blockcast, subscribe and like, and enjoy the show. So Andreas, it's very nice to have you. So thanks very much for taking the time to join the Blockcast podcast, which you will definitely like. So press the like button and subscribe button for further episodes. And always a pleasure to be here with my co-host, Dr. Demetrios Zamboglou.
Thank you, Anton.
Andreas, very great to have you. And thanks for taking the time, and really a pleasure to have you here. Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. Always
Awesome.
a pleasure to be here.
And I think in the preparation for the podcast, we had some interesting discussions about the events that are happening very
Yes.
soon. I think some very strong ones. Demetrios, right?
I think we can start first with the events because this event hosting and it has a certain place in your heart, I believe. And if you can tell the audience how which kind of events you will be visiting and how you go around these events and how all of these events are happening. And then maybe we can kick off from that. And then we can talk a little bit about what you're doing in Dubai.
Thank you. Like events, I used to not like going to events before. And then back in 2015, when I started getting into the kind of blockchain, crypto space, etc., it basically became all about events. You have to be there. And since I moved to Dubai in 2018, I became part of that kind of event, kind of roadshow, if you like. And now I hope I'm part of that community. People know me, recognize me, and that has become a really good kind of thing to be part of here, and especially here in the region. And I think the blockchain space, the crypto space is really, it's such a close community still that I enjoy being part of that. And
was it called in the beginning in Dubai distributed ledger? Was it called blockchain? Because nowadays
crypto is back as a word.
yeah.
Crypto is back as a word. Yes.
So exactly. So back in the day, I looked at it from a technology perspective, and I still look at it from a technology perspective. For me, that's what it's at heart. And I remember back in the day in 2015, I said to my team, guys, you need to become blockchain developers. And they all looked at me and I was like, blockchain developers, right? You need to read all these kind of articles. So I sent them about 20 or 30 links. I spent about 6 weeks reading up on the technology. And this is when I realized there is something real here. The technology is here to stay, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's any of the kind of use case that comes on top of the technology. The technology is here to stay. I think at the time, Bitcoin was, 2019 to 15, less than 10 years old. So it was like...
I was going to quote Anton for the price. What was the price there?
Yeah. 2015 were the brutal days, 2019 to 15 were the brutal days. 2019 were also when the markets collapsed after the ICO bubble, But Andreas, can you tell us what was your first crypto event? And why it stood out? Do you remember it?
I do remember my first crypto event. Actually, my first crypto event was in London.
Okay.
And it was in January 2016. I remember it was one that Mo did, if you remember.
Which one was that?
It was, I think it was called something like, I don't even remember the name of it.
Yep.
But it was in January. It was on a Saturday and Sunday in Liverpool Street in London at the conference centre there. And there was over 2,000 people on a Saturday, Sunday, January 2016. And this is when I realized, okay, this is real. And at the time, Bitcoin price was around $600. And I remember one of the guys from Hong Kong standing up in the middle of the room as the conference was happening. The late McAfee was there as well at the event. You had Dan from the investment from Panther. He was there as well. So you had all these guys on a weekend in London, 2,000 people, and the guy stands up in the middle of the room and he was like, Bitcoin is completely undervalued. It should be at least $10,000. And they had the whole room erupted. Yeah, it was like cheering, and it was like
you as well. Yeah,
I didn't even own any Bitcoin at the time or anything like that. I just went out of interest. So that was my first event, and then I realized, okay, this is here to stay. When you get 2,000 people in London, financial capital, on a kind of technology that is not regulated in any way. At the time, I was trying to go through the FCA for my, other business as fintech, and it was so cumbersome. And you have something there bringing 2,000 people together over a weekend in the sense of, the financial capital of the world as such, talking about this, for me, that was kind of something that is going to stay around.
And the first event you had in Dubai?
First event I came to Dubai in 2018.
Blockchain, crypto related, of course.
Blockchain, crypto related. I think my first one when I arrived, and I went. So I'm kind of associated with the Dubai Blockchain Center with Dr. MWAN.
Mm-hmm.
And back in 2018 is when we first met. So the space here was very kind of still nascent and niche, and so you had kind of the crypto gang, I would say, with Gabriel, Dr. MWAN, a few of those guys, Saka, etc.
Yes.
So at that time, I remember when Dr. MWAN launched the Dubai Blockchain Center, and it was during Ramadan that year, and I remember he did it at the 3D building. It's the first 3D printed building of the world. It's next to the Emirates Towers, white building, you might have seen it. And he invited everybody at 11 o'clock. I'm thinking, 11 o'clock? Nobody's going to turn up at 11 o'clock for an event, a launch of, Dubai Blockchain Center. We go there, the place was packed. There was about 80 of us in the room, in the 3D building. And it was amazing. And after that, again, you saw how the space was evolving here, how, inclusive it was starting to become, how they embraced it. So that was, I would say, my first kind of blockchain crypto related event here. And then after that, I was invited at the World Blockchain Center, the World Blockchain Summit,
Yes.
Run by Trescon at the time. And I was speaking there, and I remember the panel that we did on regulation in 2018. It was the first time that they had there, and it was myself, Dr. MWAN, Ralph, and I don't remember who the other person was, 4 of us, and we were talking about regulation of the space. And this is in 2018, and again, here there was no regulation, there was no VARA, there was no...
I think in 2018 there was no regulation anywhere in the world.
Pretty well, Swiss were the first ones to kind of do something then. They started talking about it.
There was some guidance.
There was some guidance, out of Zurich and
Guidance
Zurich.
paper.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think it's very interesting. First to mention is that we had Sakar already before on our podcast. So you mentioned Ralph. I think Ralph Glabishnik in here.
Yeah.
So we need to have Ralph Glabishnik here on the podcast.
Exactly.
Dr. Marwan, I think
We need all the list of these 80 people.
we have the list of the 8 people to invite them on the podcast. I also want to emphasize how small the crypto world is in Dubai. So Sakar was the first person I met when I came here to Dubai many, many years ago. It was a big wealth management conference with family offices and everything. And they had the smallest panel was for crypto. And
Was
Sakar
that the AIM?
No, it was another one actually from a very interesting person. But basically they had a small panel. Sakar was back then still with IBM actually.
Yes.
So, and they put myself, Sakar, and a few more people. And then I met also Sakar's brother as the same day. And we also understand now how these relationships in the crypto industry, how they're built early days and how long lasting they are.
Yeah.
So maybe you can also share that experience. But from I was before in the hedge fund industry.
Yes.
My contact with the hedge fund industry is very minimal today, but with most of the people I met very early on since 2013 in crypto, I still have those relationships.
Yeah.
It's something special in the crypto industry. Would you agree?
For sure, definitely. I mean, as I said, those people have become friends. We haven't done any business together in any way, I would say, between us, but we all, come together because of this industry, because of this kind of phenomenon that is, right now is completely taken over. I mean, we were at the ARBC 3 weeks ago, and you saw the number of payment companies that were there. It's gone. Traditional payments now are looking how they can integrate this new financial asset class, I would say, to make it out there. And we're still very, very early, I would say, in the adoption of this. How many people have a crypto wallet as such globally? Very small percentage. So we still have a massive kind of adoption cycle to go through to get it out there. And again, this is where I'm kind of focusing from the technology perspective, because I think, you know, any technology needs adoption. So you need to have those kind of rails.
But there is still so much, there is a lack of simplicity. I mean, take this, that I have my cryptos in an exchange and I have my cryptos in a wallet. People still do not understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you start unifying things and saying like a wallet and an exchange is the same thing, or you blend the term together, then it will be easier for the average retail investor.
Exactly. Right now, everybody has a bank account and they have the money in the bank
because
account.
Because if you tell to someone, I will help you open your wallet, he opens the wallet and then he cannot do anything. Yeah. He cannot buy and sell. It's just holding assets. So still this wallet needs to be connected to the exchange. And if the wallet is a cold wallet, then he needs to connect it even to the PC to enable it. I mean,
the user experience is very, very cumbersome, and
it's backwards, I think.
It's really bad. I mean, you can't get people to use this technology very easily. And again, this is what we're focusing on when we're developing, is the user experience is key. We developed the EX Sports app, and that's a fan engagement platform. And we've seen when we've integrated a seamless wallet within the app, that the conversion of that, people coming in, registering, start engaging with the platform. There's an NFT marketplace there that you can buy NFTs of the athletes and stuff like that. There's a camel racing game that you can virtually play with and stuff like that. But they're going and creating a wallet because it's a 2-click process within the app. Yeah. They don't have to go out, mess around with MetaMask, link their wallet or anything like that. It's a seamless experience. And we've seen over 75% conversion from users coming into that wallet and actually creating a wallet. And they don't even realize it's because it's a self-custodian wallet. It's their own wallet on their phone. And it's a fully crypto-enabled wallet as such. They don't even realize that they have that. And that's, I think, the seamlessness that we have to get to get the mass adoption.
Anton, do you remember who told us that nowadays if you want to trade or do a crypto operation, you need a Gmail address? You remember who told us?
So we had Talal from CoinMina on our podcast.
Yes.
And he mentioned a platform called Polymarket, which was a prediction, some might say betting or gambling platform, but a prediction market. And the unique feature they had, it's not a unique feature, but it's a unique feature in the crypto industry that, when you sign up for apps in the Web2 space, you sign up with a Google account or an Apple account. Yeah. So this is what Polymarket enabled, is that once you sign up with your Google account, they onboard you, but they create the wallet for you in the back, actually.
Yeah, so this is called the AAA wallet.
The AAA.
So AAA wallet is where it's going at. So it's kind of authentication kind of flow.
Can you say what AAA means? Authentication?
Authentication, I don't remember exactly what the term is, but it's what it allows you to do is basically sign up for a wallet with a traditional email account. So that is where it needs to go to. Right now, when you're logging into an app and there's a, sign in with Google or sign in with Facebook, you're more likely to sign in with one of those social logins. Especially if it's an app that you don't really want to go through massive registration process. And in fact, in our apps, we've built that. So now you can register and sign up with that. Mm-hmm. So this is where you create the seamless experience. People coming in because they want to either buy an NFT of an athlete in this case, or play a game or engage with something. They don't want to mess around with trying to create a wallet so they can get access to that. And the worst thing that you can do as well is put everything behind a firewall, whether you have to link a wallet before you can do anything. I was like, I don't have a wallet, so how do I start? It's like, that's such a bad user experience. Even myself, I don't go past that because even though I have a wallet, I can't be bothered to link it.
Yeah. Can I just ask you also to provide a context from the audience? So you're talking a lot about Tolly, who we had the last time on the podcast, in EX Sports, where you collaborated together on building the platform. Maybe can you tell us a bit more, like where do you see more of the demand coming on the technology side for blockchain crypto solutions.
Yeah.
So is it still on the wallet side, platform side? Is it maybe sophisticated things like derivatives platforms, options trading? Like, where do you see, as an insider of that field, where do you see the demand coming from?
So, I've been running a software development company at heart of...
Maybe before all of this, because we need to explain to the audience that Andreas has two lines of work. The first one is events, where him and his better half have one of the biggest event companies in the region. And his passion, of course, is software development, blockchain, and all of these new technologies. And I just wanted to make this introduction so that everybody understands.
Exactly. So just on the software development, so I started the company in 2010. So we started in traditional value-added services. And as I said, in 2015 is when we kind of got into the blockchain, Web3 decentralization. So since then, the original architecture diagram I drew up for what I envision as a middleware layer that is needed for the adoption of this technology is still valid to this day. I still show it to my team and say, guys, this is what we set out to do. Where are we in that journey? And we're still not quite there. But ultimately, you need that platform, that middleware layer, that service integration layer to enable us as companies. So back to your question, where do I see this going? It's, for me, ultimately, the world of tokenization, where everybody wants to tokenize everything. What does it come down to? It comes down to rewards. And this use case of rewarding every interaction I have, digital interaction within the space, is where it's really going to now. So right now we're in the process of developing healthcare rewards scheme, where we're discussing with a few of the providers, a few of the authorities, especially here in the region. They're very interested, where us as patients, we get rewarded for interactions within the healthcare space. Whether we get insurance incentives, whether we get healthy behavior incentives, whether we get, don't miss your appointment, for example, and you go on time, then you get a reward for that. Or you miss your appointment, you get deducted points, things like that. So
penalizing also.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just, rewards are both,
incentives.
Incentives.
Social medicine.
So right now, as patients, we don't feel that, our reward is that there is a hospital there for us to be treated by a doctor. But ultimately, we're paying for that as well because we're paying insurance for it. So building a reward scheme within the healthcare space, I think it's something that will come. And there are certain elements that really fit to it, like a health app, where it's a fitness app, steps. The more steps you do, you get. That's a clear use case. But you can take it a lot further into the patient experience, into disease management, into chronic disease management, for example. All these things are really now coming together, and they are talking seriously about potentially putting this into the healthcare space. So, for example, the Dubai Health Authority is launching a sandbox in the next 2 to 3 months. And I'm already in discussions with them to get part of that sandbox to build in this rewards layer that they can offer to all the health facilities and the healthcare space of the UAE, where they can enable potentially this reward scheme. So, again, the standard rewards in NFTs and stuff like that. So ultimately for me, NFT is not about, taking a picture of that picture and selling it for $1 million. It's all about proving ownership, proving, non-fungibility of something. So if I create an NFT of my healthcare record, for example, and every time there's an interaction with the healthcare record, it gives me a reward, I'm happy to do that. So, clinical trials, if I give health data for clinical trial, do I get incentivized for that or not? Right now, we don't know where our data is being used. Yeah. So
just to say, it's very impressive what you mentioned, that UAE as one of the global leaders in the tokenization space, and how they're driving this progress. What comes to my mind as you were saying is the news that we saw the other day is that the Dubai Land Department has launched a pilot program to tokenize property title deeds, right?
Yeah.
So we're always talking about tokenization, but then we are not really tokenizing the real estate, we're tokenizing funds that hold real estate.
Yeah.
But now we're taking that next step as a pilot, right?
But I think the world is missing out the fact that everything has been digitized first.
Yeah.
So all the title deeds are already digitized, where I'm not sure anywhere in the world you have this.
Yes. But I
Well,
think
the title deeds are not only just digitized.
Yeah.
So since I think 2017 or
Yes.
2018, they're on the blockchain. They're on a decentralized ledger. So every title deed here in Dubai, at least, or maybe the UAE, I'm not sure. There's a actual address.
I like a record on a
Yeah.
ledger, actually. Yeah.
It's a ledger record. So not only they're digitalized, but they went straight away from creating a digital version to leapfrogging into creating a blockchain-enabled digital record.
Exactly. It's something very interesting that Talal mentioned in one of the previous podcasts, is where maybe it's a bit more difficult to bring on the blockchain things that really live in the physical world, for instance, like gold or commodities or so on, but something that's natively digital, like a property title deed or a health record that's natively digital.
Yeah.
Yes, you can write it on a piece of paper, but nobody does it anymore. It's already natively digital. We need technology like the one that you are building is to bring it onto the blockchain.
Yeah. So again, for me, that's where we're really going to see kind of the next level of maturity in the technology and in the space. And there's so many aspects of it. Healthcare is one, but there's so many other industries that potentially could offer rewards. I mean, F&B is a classic one.
Sorry, what is F&B?
Food and beverage.
Food and beverage.
Yeah, food and beverage.
Okay.
I mean, the other one is, again, we were having a discussion with 2 days ago with somebody from one of the clinics here that's doing tourism, medical tourism. So Dubai has become, or the UAE as a whole, has become a massive, health tourist center. So lots of people come in here for medical procedures, etc. So you can really reward that. If I have a health reward, for example, or any reward, that I'll come here and do a medical procedure, and I get given a voucher to go and spend it in Carrefour here. Well, in 3 weeks, I'm going to go back to my home country. That voucher is worthless to me. But if I get given a voucher that I can spend in the duty free, that's perfect. Yeah. I can go back home through the duty free, and there's collaborations there because of the nature of Dubai that you can discuss with the duty free guys at the airport and the Dubai Health Authority and the head of the medical tourism sector here. Say, guys, we can enable this, and you can offer every patient that comes here to do a medical procedure, you offer them extra rewards. Classic one, duty free. Because it's something that, it's not something that they're going to not spend. They will spend it. Every time you go back home after your procedure, you get even another reward as you leave, And you can geolocate it as soon as they land into the duty free, up on their phone, use your voucher. Simple.
How many years are you here?
I'm here since 2018. So in fact, as I said, the first event I came here was with Dubai Blockchain Center. So 2018, I arrived in August 2018.
And how much things have changed?
Massively. I mean, probably this building I was sitting in wasn't here in 2018. In fact, I was at the Dubai Science Park this morning in a meeting, and we were at the Radisson Red. That building wasn't built 4 years ago. I think it opened 5 years ago. So it's crazy how things. I'm a civil engineer by trade, so for me, being in this environment, seeing all these buildings come up all the time, for me, it's really nice because for me, I did civil engineering out of a passion. I love the industry. I just moved out of it because it wasn't offering the right package at the time. But being here is amazing. So,
will you ever consider going back and being a civil engineer?
No, but I think there are many areas that blockchain technology can help the civil engineering industry because it's still a little bit backwards. In fact, we around tenders, procurement, even the management of the drawings, the plans that are being used. One of the biggest issues you have in construction is that they're using different plans, so different versions of plans. So having a simple version controlling solution will help a lot. If you get into any disputes, the first thing they say, well, which version of the plans did you use? Yes. Oh, I'll use that. Well, you should have used that. Why didn't you use that? I wasn't sent this. So, it's a simple thing. So again, putting this technology into use in the industry I came from originally, I think that will be interesting to see how we can manage that.
So you came here 2018.
Yeah.
So you had so many projects. Can you name a couple that they're into your heart, that you built and you've seen them scale? We mentioned the tallest project.
Yes.
Yeah, the exports, I think in the Web3 space, I would say is one of the main ones. But I'm running, I play rugby. And so I play rugby for the Hurricanes here in Dubai. So when I came...
Go Hurricanes.
Yeah, go Hurricanes. So I came here.
We will tag them in the podcast.
So I didn't play rugby for about 5 years before I came here. My knee was injured a little bit, so I just gave up. And I came here and I took my son up to play. So I got roped into coaching. Mm-hmm. So I'm now one of the coaches at the club as well. Yeah. And we had a team called Daddy Canes. So Hurricanes, Daddy Canes. So you had to be a dad and you had to obviously be a coach at the time. So, and they were entering a team for the Dubai Sevens, which is the international tournament here. So from that, I thought, right, this is an opportunity for me to play in an international tournament. And so I got back into it, started training. My knee was okay for a while. And so 5 years later, actually developed the website for them. Mm-hmm. So I'm running now the website, integrate all the payments. So I don't just do Web3. So we are, an end-to-end development software house, I would say. And, Web3 is one of the elements. Obviously, that's coming more into its own now because a lot more of the projects are being that. But I'm doing both traditional and the Web3 enabled projects. Mm-hmm. And again, I say enabled because these are traditional projects, Web2 going to Web3. So that's where again
actually we have a very big issue. We cannot get someone to explain us what is the difference between Web3 and from Web2 to Web3. Maybe you can explain it a little bit.
Yeah, so the biggest thing I would say is, Web3 is all about decentralization. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that's one of the, if you look at the blockchain technology, there's 2 or 3 added value adds that it gives us on top of the existing internet protocols. Yes. So one is decentralization. The other one is the token economics that it can enable through the tokens and that you can issue on top of the technology. And the other one is, the identity management. So you can, the fungibility, non-fungibility. So you can really prove through the decentralization, the proof of ownership. So those added elements is what you can put into a Web3 environment. So you're not completely changing Web2, you're transforming it into a Web3, I would say. So for me, again, you're not going to go to an existing bank and say, rip out all your financial systems right now and build this brand new shiny Web3 system. It's never going to happen, or any other big enterprise. It's just not going to happen. So the only way you can do that, you can start by building some Web3 enablement into that.
Yeah, and they see the value. If you say you're a company and you're a Web3 company, what does that mean?
That you can handle decentralized protocols, basically. You can handle those things. So we've had 3 or 4 cases where we're working with our partners and they have their existing, teams developing, etc. And things were not working. and then we'll go into to their management saying, the app team that we've brought on board doesn't know what they're talking about. And then I said, okay, let's get on a call and discuss it. And then they realized that, their team never worked in kind of Web3 protocols, so they didn't know how to manage the encryption, the keys management, etc. So and then my team was like, well, you need to do this, you need to do that. And then, all right, okay. So, it takes some, you have to work into the technology to understand it. And since we've been working, since 2015 into this, we've kind of built on top of a lot of the different protocols. So we understand how it works. And we've taken it from a Web 2 perspective in terms of, the first module we'll build is an identity manager. Okay? Because identity is key, especially when it's decentralized and public. You're never going to get enterprises or governments to go on to a protocol like that. So you need to manage the identity. You need to manage that. And then the other one was asset manager, and the other one was encryption services manager. So three layers that were built. So these 3 modules. And now we're running at about 10 modules. So we have the minting module, we have the wallet that we've built, we have the distribution manager, the rewards manager. So all this have come together, the KYC manager, the payment gateway. So we're allowing all these modules to be put together on top of existing Web 2 layers that will basically allow you to create an NFT marketplace, for example, that still allows you to buy the NFTs with a credit card. And, we're one of the only companies, I would say, I don't know of anybody else that got approved, that we can actually allow NFTs to be bought here in the UAE with a traditional credit card.
Yeah, very strong.
And very fascinating.
Wanted to ask your thoughts on a very specific topic that you mentioned as you were describing kind of what you do, and those are the infamous private key, of your wallet, right? How do you see this being managed? Because we had Marwan from Fears Off on our podcast, and we discussed how many hacks happen, how many people lost their cryptos, and in the background it's always this feature that in the blockchain world you own the asset in your wallet or on your address, right? And the key aspect there are the private keys. So, and it's such a big benefit because you have direct ownership of assets, right? The asset that is there, it's yours. But on the other side, if you lose your private keys, or if a hacker breaks into a crypto exchange, for instance, they can withdraw the funds and the funds are gone, like in the Bybit hack, that 1.5 billion was gone, right? So fast. So how do you see this challenge? It's an opportunity, right? But it's a big, big challenge. In the crypto industry, we're aware of it. So it's like another scar that we get when a hack happens. But how do you see this in the Web 2 space? How do people react when they hear Bybit has been hacked for 1.5 billion or somebody has lost their funds because of the private keys?
Again, for me, it's going back to the user experience. They should not know that this is blockchain technology. They should not know that this is crypto as such. They should engage in a way that they want to get something, like we've achieved with the exports in this case. They don't know that it's Web3. They don't know that it's blockchain. The whole application is Web3 application, but they don't know about it. All they want to know is that there's an NFT of an athlete and it's their friend. It's a jiu-jitsu fighter and he comes in and he wants to buy the NFT to support their friend. Now, how that happens, how that NFT came up there, how they've bought it, they don't care. They shouldn't care. So, yes, they have a wallet. They've created a wallet, but again, they don't know how to manage it. Now, what we've built is you need that support structure to be there. So one of the first project we did was a company in Germany. Back in 2017 or 18, I think we've built this. And they created a system, but the wallet was generated through traditional email. So we were sending them a link saying, get your tokens here. Traditional email with a click here to get your tokens. On that click, we were enabling them to download the application, set up their wallet, and they were proving 3 factors of authentication that they already had before through the uploading. And they were setting up the wallet. And we were, through a distribution manager that we had, pushing the tokens in this case into their wallet, and they could see it there. We actually did the launch event here in Abu Dhabi, where we did the launch of the solution, and then pressed the big button, and then my team in the background pressed the button, and 300 people in the room with their wallet. It was like, psh, and they were like, "Oh, here's my token." So, a bit gimmicky. However, it was a real case, and everybody was enthusiastic in the room that they received their tokens instantly on the press of the button. Okay. So, but what we found, we had 5,000 users. At least, I would say 25 to 30% of them lost their wallet keys. They lost their phones, they lost their wallet. But what we built is that we can recover those wallets, and then we can push back their token out. So they didn't lose anything. Even if you lost your wallet.
Yeah, but why will they trust you to keep their keys? This is the question.
So we don't keep their keys. We just keep one part of the key. We keep the public key. So they will basically reinstate their wallet. We will basically send back their allocation, because we have already their allocation. We know that, Demetrios owns 200 of those tokens. Hello, Mr. Support. I've lost my wallet, or I've lost my phone. Where's my tokens? No worries, sir. Download the app again, and we'll send you back your tokens. So as soon as they created a new wallet, we basically linked it. Instantly, Demetrios has his 200 tokens into that new wallet. So that's kind of a simple use case, that you need that customer support service for the adoption. How many times have you called your bank? How many times have you called, for deliveries? Or, you need that support for the users. You can't just let them go.
So you see it more as a responsibility of the service provider or the platform to manage the
It's
private
both.
keys?
I would say it's both. Look, if he gives me his password to his mobile banking app, and I'll go and transfer loads of money into my account, is a responsibility as well. But
I think if you get the password of my bank account, you will be shocked.
Dust.
You will say, I give you back the password. It's okay.
I will send you some money.
I'll send you money. So, this is where, for me, okay, you need to understand key management. You need to understand, kind of like you do now with your traditional banking app, that you need to manage that. But the same goes with the service provider. So in our platform, we don't store any of the keys openly, for example. We basically break it out into 4. So we have, even if our servers get hacked, they can't do anything. They have to hack 2 servers, and obviously the private key is on the wallet, so they have to hack the wallet at the same time. And then they have to match together those 3 to be able to do anything. So that's how we're managing kind of the security. I'm not saying it's foolproof, for sure. Nothing's foolproof, but we added kind of as much as we can to make it secure.
Have you watched the Bybit hack? I mean, did you drill it down to understand what happened there?
I didn't drill down too much, but my understanding of that is it wasn't really a hack as such, as a user issue. Yes. The guy sent 1.4 billion of tokens to an address that he didn't verify. I mean, you can't, sometimes you can't accommodate for such things. How are you going to manage that? There's no system in the world that will manage somebody actively doing something without checking.
But the idea there, again, Anton, from my understanding, it's they hacked the entity that was doing the UI, and then in front of the CEO you could see the right address, but when he sent the coins, let's call them coins, the ethers, they went to a different address. So when he was doing it himself, he thought he was actually doing the right thing.
So look, we got hacked in our events business. Not us, but one of our clients. And you know how that happened? They hacked his email. So he was using Gmail. So they hacked his email. We sent an invoice to him, to this company, to pay us. And we were running an event for them. So we sent them an invoice to pay us. Somebody basically hacked his email, found that email trail that they had a discussion with our account team, created a new email. Instead of MWAN events, they called it something else, .mwanevents@mail.com. Send an email to them saying, pretending that we are the email owner, saying, please do not use our Emirates MBD bank account. Please use the new details in the updated invoice because our Emirates MBD bank account is not working right now. He saw that and he went and paid against that new invoice that he received from that email. And then he's calling saying, you know, it's your fault. And it's like, how is that our fault?
Very similar to what happened to Bybit.
Exactly the same. That's exactly, it's a, you know, middleman attack. So how can you, you know, and he went and reported it. And the funny thing is that they've sent the funds to a bank account here. So the bank account that they put in the invoice was here. So straight away the guy went to the police. Obviously, they managed to track down who it was. But again, that's a very simple thing that can happen if you're not careful.
So I think more of we're going again back to this context of social engineering or hacks or dangers of social engineering. But I agree with you that Bybit hack, the reason why crypto is so challenging is when you hear about the hacks are monstrous in size, right? Because saying 1.5 billion is lost to a professional asset manager, to a family office who was maybe already deploying and wanted to deploy more, or was about to deploy. Imagine the headline, crypto 1.5 billion gone, right? And then it doesn't inspire confidence, I think, actually, in those cases, right?
Not only
but
this,
look at the traditional finance. I mean, some of the big cases, if you remember back in the day, 40 billion, pyramid schemes, all this stuff. I mean, it's like...
Just to mention something, Andreas. So yesterday in the evening, I was about to pay my Diva bill. So Dubai electricity in 30. And I was clicking to pay the, you know, it's basically you can do it on your browser, on your phone. And the payment wouldn't go through. And it happened, you asked when was the last time you spoke with a customer support on your bank. It was probably the first time after decades. I called them, I'll not say which bank because I really love them. And they said actually that the famous card issuer, the famous one, has actually problems. And it's not processing transactions. And that's why they told me, that's why you can't do the payment now, which I then obviously I try to give positive feedback saying, well, you should inform they should inform the clients. Imagine if I'm at dinner with my colleagues or friends or family and I'm trying to pay,
card doesn't work.
But why you will be on dinner, Anton, and you want to pay your electricity? It doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, but
if you try to pay for your dinner and then it doesn't...
The card doesn't work there. But what I realized is actually, and it was a global outage, at least that's what my bank told me. And I was like thinking, but in crypto, usually it's on X, it's on social media, it's reported. And I'm like, why is there no information, right? Is it the case that Web3 and crypto companies just better at communication and putting these problems under the rug than the traditional industry?
Digital assets are targeted by the traditional finance. Yeah, we know that. We're a threat.
Yes.
It's a big threat. So we have to be, squeakier than clean, as they say. We have to be properly, as an industry, to look after each other, because anything like this gets massive headlines. So, in the traditional finance, I mean, there's so many scams out there that you don't hear about. And if you put all those scams together, it's much bigger than all the scams in the crypto. But the crypto at the moment is getting the headlines. And I think, it will come that, the two are starting to merge more. As we said, AIBC, there was lots of traditional payment providers that were actually there. So the two industries are coming together. So I think that is something that, will change. But for me, that's what it's about. Yeah.
Andreas, let's go just a little bit more back to the topic of the events.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit more about that. We saw each other. So Andreas, you, Demetrios, Tolly, myself, we managed to find each other at the previous conference. I think it was AIBC.
Yeah, the IBC one, yeah.
So tell us a little bit more. What are your plans? What do you see as the key events for the crypto industry or you as a service provider?
For 2025.
For 2025, in region and globally.
Yeah.
And how would you describe the vibe in the event space?
Look, here in Dubai especially, the event space is so saturated. There's so
Saturated,
many,
you
yes,
say,
saturated in terms of so many events. So you get bombarded with events. I mean, there's so many. So the only ones that are going to survive really are the quality ones.
Yes,
of course.
Yeah. So, and that's in every industry, in everything that happens. The quality always wins. So, which are the ones that we go to? For example, in our industry, do we go to every crypto event? No. We go to the ones that we think are going to be the decent ones. AIBC comes here.
That was a very nice compliment for AIBC.
Yeah.
Now,
Token 2049,
Yep.
Dr. Marwan managed to get it here. That's become a success last year. This year is going to be a success. So, that's again another quality one. You have some of the older ones that kind of fallen by. So you need to keep those events here. So right now as well, the purely crypto events are finished as such. So you need to have more of the more holistic event.
the global ones.
Not just global, I think it's offering various elements. Because now you've got...
So you mean beyond just the crypto community, right?
Beyond just the crypto community. Because now the other industries and the other sectors are looking how they can utilize.
Yes.
Yeah. So you've got AI that's coming in. You've got... So they're all merging together. So they're still doing the separate bits. But when you bring kind of... I think the innovation kind of events are going to be here. And this is the one that we're trying to bring here. So one of the authorities here asked me to recommend some international events that they can bring to Dubai. Obviously, we know events in Dubai is their economy as such. It's one big part of the economy because everybody that comes here kind of leaves money on the table. Taxis, hotels, restaurants, etc.
It's
So
called business tourism.
yes, but it's good because everybody,
very good.
people want to come here, and it's you've got such great facilities that we have here, clean, everything working. The event space are so good. From our events, you have like 800 hotels here, and at least half of those have event venues in them. So you've got ballrooms that you can just go and choose which type of ballroom do you want. You have really cool spaces that you can have kind of breakout parties and stuff like that. I think you're going to be arranging one as a side event. So all these things are going to be adding to the to the favor of those events. But again, coming back to your question, which event I will recommend to go to is I don't go to many events now, but I only go to the ones that I know are going to be good, and I know that most people from my peer group are going to be there.
Yes.
So
I think we also had so you mentioned AIBC, Token 2049. I think we had a very good productive time at Abu Dhabi Finance Week.
Abu Dhabi
I
Finance
think very
Week,
strong also.
I think Bitcoin Mena Andreas was a VIP as well.
yeah,
Oh,
Bitcoin
yes,
Mena,
yes,
Bitcoin
you
Mena
were-
was
you were
good.
Very strong there. Yes.
So and then I think the other big shows like the GITEXs, etc. And the North Star one.
Yes.
I think next year it's going to be even bigger because I think they're going to.
How much bigger can it go? I mean, it's like it was huge.
Yeah,
But
but
the two locations this year or last year. sorry.
it's going to be again into. So my understanding is that next year GITEX is moving to the Expo.
Okay.
So GITEX Global is going to be at the expo because they're massively expanding that.
Just to say, Andreas, I think many people are now grateful around Sheikh Zayed Road for what you just said, potentially, because it was usually very crowded around DWTC.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, but it's moving there. But what they're doing, they're bringing the Dubai Harbour one. So the North Star is going to go to the World Trade Center. So you're going to have the metro between the two venues. That's the plan. So that's kind of what they're going to do. So obviously the Dubai Harbour was nice venue, iconic skyline, but getting to it and out was a bit messy. So I think what they're doing now is going to put GITEX Global up there, the North Star.
I think you also forgot to mention Seamless.
Seamless.
Oh, how can we?
Look, Seamless is the OG. Okay, Seamless has been a finance.
Are you speaking there?
I've been one of their speakers for a number of years. I remember the first event I went before it even became Seamless. It was called Cards and Payments. So it's come from a really traditional kind of finance background, the event, but it's now really transitioning into, it's one of the really good finance events.
And is it bigger in Dubai or bigger in Saudi Arabia?
No, Dubai is still bigger.
Wow.
It went big. They've done really well when they launched in Saudi about 3 years ago. So it's quite big there, but it's still bigger here. Again, as whatever we say, the UAE is still, and Dubai is still a good, attractive proposition for the international market. Okay, so you're getting here, and the regulation is here. It's better. You have 4 regulators here.
Yes.
So, it's still better profile for the companies to come here. So Seamless is a really good event. And now they're looking into bringing in kind of the digital assets aspect into the conference.
Okay.
So I think that's a really good one as well.
Okay. And so just to ask out of my curiosity, you're very strong in the physical events. How often are you doing podcasts like the ones that we are doing now? Is this your first podcast ever, or one of the first, or one of the rare ones? How exclusive was this opportunity that Demetrios and I got?
I think for a while now, Andreas stopped talking to events, but I had to push him a little bit. And I was very happily surprised in the AIBC. You were great. You did very, very good.
So as I said to you, I kind of stopped eventing as such. I've kind of focused on doing the business side of things. But, I do enjoy it. I enjoy speaking. And, I think now, hopefully, I'm kind of recognized as well in the space, especially in the region. And, you have to offer something back as well through the experience that you have. Sure. I think I did, maybe this might be my second podcast, full podcast. So
strong. Yeah. Just throwing out as an idea, Andreas and Demetrios, I don't know what you think. Imagine a podcast at a conference.
Okay.
So real time, maybe I'm throwing out ideas a bit too much.
I was thinking that you're gonna be talking about NFTs.
No. I think
so this event potentially that's going to be brought in, and this is what we're working to now. The venue that we're proposing actually has a podcast studio built in.
Okay. So in real time, let's say real time, you can bring in guests. They can
exactly. Yeah. I actually did. I did 3 podcasts. So I did one in Islamabad. At the it's called the Future Fest there. So they have a really cool event there. So I was invited to speak, and they had a podcast there that I was part of as well. So that was quite nice.
Yes.
So and they love there the kind of having somebody from abroad come, embrace the country, and in fact they've had an office there for 15 years. So I'm half Pakistani in this sense. So I'll go there now. At least once every 3 months. I'll have my team there and everything. And so, they really love having somebody from outside supporting their country, and that was a great honor to be invited there.
Maybe we discussed a lot of different topics, I think we opened up very strong to understand a bit how you have been in this event space, how you see it. We also discussed a lot about technology. I think it was very insightful to give us a hands-on experience, kind of what's happening with the companies who are building this technology, what's important for them, what's a make or break, to get adoption. But maybe also we can slowly to get your, how can people reach you? How can people contact you? What is the next event that you're going to be at? Is it Token 2049? Where can people see you in the next, if they want to meet you in the next weeks or months? So I know we are in Ramadan, so Ramadan Kareem to everyone. But it's less active. But tell us a little bit about your schedule. Where can people find you?
So
see
actually, this Ramadan, I was very active in the kind of suhoor and the iftar kind of space.
So they can find you next to the buffet, or
well, you don't get like this for no reason, But no. I think the next one, I think I'm speaking at Seamless in Dubai.
That's in, when is that about?
I think that's, is it May or April? I don't remember.
We checked it when we were driving here. It was in May.
In May, yeah. It's in May. We have a big event in Riyadh in May as well, which is around digital health that we run. It's called the MENA telehealth event that we've been running now for 5 years. We have another one called eHealth Workforce Development, Digital eHealth, which is in October. But the Token 2049 will be there. And then I think I'm speaking at AIM as well in Abu Dhabi. Okay. So those are kind of the next events that I'm going. So AIM is a good one as well. We shouldn't forget that.
Yes. Will you be at the Demetrios' side event?
But the Token 24? No, they have you invited me.
What's cooking there?
I haven't received the invite yet. If I'm not invited, I don't go. As an event organizer, if I don't get invited anywhere, I don't go, because the last thing you want is people coming.
Even not invited, you're still there. What are you talking about?
No, to yours, yeah, I'll just turn up. But seriously, the last thing you want as an event organizer is people turning up trying to beg to come in. It's like, guys, come on.
I always account for a delta of 20%, so it's fine. Okay. Let them all come.
So what's cooking, Demetrios, on your side? You see?
I think I'm also... Token 2049 will be a very big one.
Yeah.
Seamless, yes, it's going to be big as well. But I would like to think that this year will close with an amazing Abu Dhabi Finance Week, because last year, I said this to Anton many times, for me it was the best event.
Okay, yeah, very strong.
And the best connections we had were there, the best friends we made were there, and I'm looking for the whole year to continue the way it is, and to close with fireworks in Abu Dhabi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. So after the holiday, April, May is going to be packed. There's so many events there. And then obviously we'll go through the summer now. And then again, September, actually, there's a big event that's coming here in the healthcare space. So they're doing one here, which is HIMSS. And it's kind of the Arab health, but the digital healthcare arm of that. And they're actually doing it, I think, 8th and 9th of September. So it's very early. Then obviously you're going into October with GITEX, etc. And then you've got the November, which you're going to have a few events there as well. So, and then, as you say, close off with Abu Dhabi Finance Week. So,
but what I did this year, and is very helpful for me and very helpful for my organization, I picked 5 events and I said those are the major ones.
Yeah.
So I am going there 100%. I'm either be talking, moderating, doing the openings, whatever, doing interviews. Those are the 5 main ones.
Yeah.
As much of the other ones I can do and time will allow me, I will do.
Yeah.
But in those 5 ones, I have to go 100%.
Yeah, and look, those 5 are the ones, the quality ones, as we said. So those are the ones that we have to be at, as part of the industry, I would say. Yeah.
But you never know where you will meet someone. It might be on another event. But those 5 you still need to do.
I was hoping somebody will ask me, Anton, where are you going?
Yeah, where are you going, Anton?
I think
you're everywhere.
You're everywhere.
I'm trying to be, I try to always contribute to the ecosystem and to the community. Part of that is also be physically present as much as we can, right? The time allows. Definitely, I should be flying to the City of Love in Europe, to Paris, maybe for Paris Blockchain Week.
That's supposed to be I haven't been yet. That's supposed to be a very good one,
Are you speaking in Paris?
It is not decided yet. But, I'm also... TBD, but, I'm also happy just to be present there and meet the colleagues and meet the friends.
Yes.
We are all now here in the UAE, in the region. But I think it's also many times very nice to go back kind of from where we
course.
came from. I was in Switzerland for many years. Paris is close by. You can go by train from Switzerland there. So I should be at the Paris Blockchain Week. But I agree with both of what you said. I think there's many good events. We spoke about the very near one, which is Token 2049, from the bigger one, let's say the international ones. Something that really struck me in a very positive way, that while we were, or I was in Hong Kong for the consensus, everybody was talking about Dubai and Token 2049.
Yes.
So I'm really glad and honored and just really pleasant to be living in UAE, in Dubai, visiting Abu Dhabi, Ras Al Khaimah, Hatta, Fujairah, not to forget.
I was actually at the first Token 2049 in Hong Kong in 2018.
There,
So I was at that one. So
yes, but I think we're always happy somehow to come back. I think that's also what you're
I think
trying
I was
to say.
there as well.
2018.
Yeah.
Okay.
But where was it? In London or something like that?
No, it's in Hong Kong.
I was in Hong Kong.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember which one was the big one in London. Digital Asset Summit or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Digital Asset
Something
Summit.
like
Yeah.
that. Yes, but I think now everybody's more gravitating slowly to more or towards the region and towards the UAE. Yeah. So yeah, I want to really say it was a very amazing podcast as always. Andreas, really, I can say on my side, really a pleasure.
Thank you.
Also, what's interesting in today's podcast, and really something that I was thinking about all the time as you were talking, how many of our common friends we have, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
How many people are here in the ecosystem or globally that are converging here, and that we all somehow kind of know each other. It also always means that we're in the right crowd, in the right community, among the right people. So really, a pleasure to have you on the podcast, Andreas.
Thank you
and
very
also
much.
hopefully some of the names that we mentioned, happy to have them at some point as
We
well.
still need to find that list with the 80 people.
With the APT people, and Andreas.
Andreas,
when we end,
you
okay?
have to go back and find that
You will
picture.
have to.
Now with AI, we can find who is who.
Yes, yeah. So really a pleasure to have you, Demetrios. Also, always to have you nice as a
Pleasure Anton,
co-host.
to be
and-
here. Thank you, Andreas, for coming.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you
the
for
invitation.
sharing
Yeah.
all your insights. Thank
and
you
all
very
the
much.
secrets of the event space. Really a pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. So thanks very much, everyone, and have a blast. Please remember, subscribe to our channel, like this podcast, and more amazing guests to come. Take care.